You are not running away from the camera. Just say I'm conscious of it.
Pastor, check your back. That's in there. This one, what are we doing?
You have to be within coverage.
Yes.
Yes, within coverage.
Yeah.
No. Yeah. It's fair. Try and maintain the distance. Maintain it like that.
Like this.
Don't
This is our audience.
don't scatter abroad.
This is our audience.
That's when you're.
This is our audience.
Yeah, but you acknowledge this one and you now face this one. Test your mic.
Hello.
So let's go. We're good.
Well, good afternoon, everyone.
Good afternoon.
Thank you all for coming out today. I think this is our second program. Yeah, this is our second program.
This year.
Today we're going to talk about money. At least if I get money, I'll go marry. So let's talk about money. Let's have some money in the bank first. So my name is Bayo, and it's beautiful. Lovely. You never allow me to speak before you.
Thank you. My name is Olamide. Welcome, everyone.
Anyways, I will try to do start since you know what to do. Maybe after this event, I have some more money.
Try again.
We'll start again.
Show me the money.
Alright, so okay. So this, like I said, this is our second program. So how we are blessed. The first program. It's not really to explore ourselves, but to beside you, so as we go this good. As we go,
Can't run away. So here we have Mrs. Mufozimo, and she'll be taking us in the first session. And we also have Mr. Ayo, taking us in the second session. And then afterwards, we have a panel session again today. So they are here full on ground to take us through all the money matters, investment, finance, and everything you want to know. There's also room to ask questions, so be ready, pay attention, bring all your questions.
Yeah, so for our viewers online, you could just drop in the chat box, drop your question, and we will ask live and direct here for the audience.
All right.
Thank you very much. We'd like to introduce, come on stage.
Ready?
So, Miss, she's very beautiful, very pretty. I hope my wife will turn to look at her. Mrs.
Mrs. Ruth Ozibo, you're welcome, ma'am.
Hello, how you doing, everybody? Okay, how you doing? How many of us are excited to be here? I'm so excited. Anytime I get to talk about money and to be talking about money to this set of brothers and sisters who are, you know, God's people, it also makes me more excited because I believe strongly as believers, we are supposed to control the world's wealth. In our original design, we see in Genesis 1 when he said, male and female, be fruitful, multiply, and replenish the earth. And so I'm super, super excited to be hanging out with you today. And I just hope that by the time I'm through, I'm able to demystify personal finance for you. Am I saying that everything about finance you're going to learn today? No. But my goal and agenda is to create a pathway in you that will enable you to see that it is possible, and it's something that has to be done step by step, and you are more confident, to go out and live a life of financial freedom. So what's personal finance? Very briefly, we can say that personal finance, okay, so today we'll be looking at personal finance. Why is it important? Pillars of wealth creation. Last time with the ladies, we had our session and it was phenomenal. It was phenomenal. And great news, guys. I'm very sorry, but the ladies are already they're already creating a pattern of behavior. Somebody sent me her slip of $2,500 that she had saved as a result of the session. People have sent me 500. People were actually going on this. And I was super excited. I'm going to collect how much the ladies are saving, because the idea is you start a pattern of behavior by saving before you start investing. Why did we go about saving first? So we did a poll and realized that most ladies most people, young people in Nigeria, don't have emergency fund. And as I'm going through this, I'm going to break it to you layer by layer, how you can gradually build to become the person God has designed you to be. So we're going to be looking at personal finance. The pillars of wealth creation we're going to be tackling today is mindset and mastering your money. That's why we have savings and investment. And also, what is the next step for you listening, you that is here, so we can move on from one level to the other. Are we ready? Yes, so personal finance, it covers managing your money as well as saving and investing. It also talks about budgeting, banking, insurance, mortgages, investment, retirement planning, tax, and estate planning. But for the focus of today, we're building gradually, and as we go on, I want you to just get ready. Why is personal finance very important? For me personally, the reason why I began to tell people about personal finance came from a place of personal pain. And it was a case of I had been working for years, but I found out that I was living paycheck to paycheck. So basically, if the paycheck did not come, I would not be able to sustain that month. I just knew there had to be more. I just knew that they had to be more. And so as I began I said, this thing that everybody is saying they want to be rich, is it a wishful thinking, or is there actually a path to take that will make you attain greatness? And so as we go on, why do we have personal finance classes like this? Why we want to teach you how to make money, how to attract money, how to manage your money, how to multiply it and maintain. Oh my goodness, I'm sorry about that. So we see that a lot of times, a lot of people make money, but the same vein they make the money, they blow the money. Have you seen people like that? They make so much money. I remember I had an encounter some years back with somebody as at that time was earning, $500,000. But before her paycheck comes, we already have, how many people are already waiting to, use the money? So I was wondering, as at that time, this was in the early 2000s, you were earning so much. The inflation rate was not this bad. The currency, so why can't you use what you have? And so it's not just enough to make, we need to know how to manage it, how to multiply, and how to maintain. Why? So everybody has different goals. Some people want to go to the moon. Some people want to just take care of their families, but for me as a Christian, I strongly believe that, as the Bible says, that we will lend to nations. And so I don't look at that scripture and look at it that this is something that happened in the Bible. I look at it as something that will happen in my lifetime, right? I don't know how many of you are with me on that. I am actually, when I see something in the Word, I strongly believe it's for me. And so for me, it was more than just living a life, a baby girl lifestyle, more than just taking care of my kids. I want to be empowered in such a way that I hear something is happening in Zimbabwe and I'm able to send relief items. I hear people are having housing issues. We are able to build low-cost housing for people. Like for me, when I talk about personal finance, it's not just about me, myself, and I, but it's to see how I can impact the world positively. And when I use the world, I'm not talking about only Christian. The sun shines on both everybody. God is gracious to us, and I believe that creative ability is in us. Another thing is, the Bible talks about a wise man leaves an inheritance for his children's children. I strongly believe as Christians, we should leave generational wealth. And so these are some of the things that drive me when I look at personal finance. And before we go further, I'm going to be talking about people and their different money personalities. And the reason why I talk about money personalities, so you know who you are. When you know yourself and know how you are, you can know how you can course correct. So you can know what the things you need to do to adjust. You know the things you need to realign. You know the things to know that you even find out that some of us are already doing well, but we just didn't know we're doing well. And so I'm going to be starting with the big spender. These people, they're the kind of people that any money I get now for enjoyment. When they hear about iPhone X, they are the first on the queue for iPhone X. They say, it's just small camera that change you. Maybe how many? You say, no. As far as I'm using, I must use the latest. These are the big spenders. They're the people that they go big or go home. If they're going to buy anything, it has to be Gucci, it has to be Louis Vuitton. They cannot just be, how? And there are people like that, and they don't care. They say, how much is it? They can take any amount, any debt. They are big spenders. These kind of people, in all of their personality, yes, there should be moderation, but they have something that is great, especially if you want to grow your funds. They are risk takers. They have the potential to they can carry their whole money and bet it on something that they believe in. They are big. They go big or go home. The next kind of people we have is savers. So this kind of people, if you are living here, please put off the light. So electricity bill is going. You want to use the toothpaste. Press it very well. There's still some more toothpaste inside. Those kind of people that can be very extreme, that all the soap stops, they will put it together, put it inside water. They are extreme. Any money, they don't even want to take risk. Just, can you leave my money in savings account? Let me be seeing all these apps people are talking about. I'm not there. That is a saver. Yes, they have a good trait because they are able to gather wealth, but they also need to let go a bit. Because to be able to achieve the level of financial freedom, you need to take some risk. So I'm highlighting these personalities. Some of these personalities are interwoven. Some you begin to identify in yourself. So you now know, okay, I'm okay like this, but this is how I should adjust. Then we have the shoppers. Those people, just vex them. They're going shopping. These people not necessarily, the difference between them and the big spenders is that they don't necessarily go for luxury items. So they like, is it on discount? They are there. 5% discount. 10%, they don't even care how it is. And because they also know that they are not like the big spenders that are risk adverse. So they're like, let me see, I don't want to take too much debt. This kind of people, you cannot leave them with credit card because they're going to burn it, and those are the shoppers. Then the next lot of people are the debtors. Some people might say the debtors sound like the shoppers, but there's a difference. The debtors don't necessarily have frivolous personality. They just haven't sat down to evaluate what they have before they make financial decisions. So these debtors, they might actually be taking debts to pay for genuine necessities like food, like clothing, like transport. But the difference is with these people is that they have not become aware of what they have. If you only take time, just try it. Every money you spend in a month, write it down. Write it down. You'll find out that certain things you were wasting money on that you thought were necessary were not. So these debtors, every time they're on debt, it's like that woman I told you that in 2000 and something, she was earning $500,000. Before her salary comes, I kid you not, people are already waiting to have access to that. Then we have the investors. Investors understand what they have, and they're willing to use what they have to create more levels of wealth for themselves. These money personalities, I'm sure some of us are beginning to understand where we are. Some are in between, some are too. But it's very important for us to understand it, for us to move forward. Are we together? Are we together? And so we move on to the pillars of wealth creation. When I was told to talk about, when we spoke last time, we spoke extensively on the 6 pillars. But today we're going to be speaking on 3. And these pillars we're going to be speaking on, I strongly believe that anybody picking these pillars and starting with them will see a change. It's not just you listening. You will definitely see a change in your life. And so I'm going to be starting with a key pillar that really I'm very passionate about. It's about limiting beliefs. Everything you see starts with the mind. I know it sounds very motivational. I know it sounds like everybody has heard it. But I'm going to be debunking some myths when it comes to finance. I'm going to be starting with one. There was a lady called Lara Griffith, and we found out that she won 1.8 million pounds. I told the ladies the last time. Can somebody in the crowd here times 1.8 times 700 pounds? She won lottery. She won the lottery, she and her husband. Do we have the figure? Who is going to say the figure for me? What's the figure? 1.8 million pounds times 700. Let's use 700 as the exchange rate. Yeah? I want someone to tell me. How much is it? 1.3. So if I give you 1.3 billion today, what do you think? You think you're set for life, right? Abi? For real. Let's not try to do tricks. If I give you 1.3 billion, you think you are set for life, Abi? Do you believe that in 6 years, she and her husband blew this money and they were left with £7? And I kid you not, this is, you can Google it, you check it. It's a myth that you can get rich because of, like you can maintain wealth because of lottery. Money easily and quickly gotten has a way to fly if you don't understand the principles of managing wealth. It got so bad that this money cost they were married for 14 years, their marriage crashed. A lot of things just happened because they did not understand the principle. The reason why you have to understand the principles first before you go out and make money, so it keeps you grounded. It keeps you, like, you don't do, it helps you in tune with your anchor. So that's the first myth I want to debunk. You are not waiting, it's not lottery that will make you rich. You need to debunk that myth. The second one is money is the root of all evil. Growing up, we kept on hearing, is the love of money. When you make money a god, money drives you. You kill for money. You do something, all these kind of things for money. That is the root of all evil. I'm going to be going very fast now because of my time. And when I had to tell myself, at first, I remember growing up, I used to hear, it's easier for the rich man, the horse to go to the eye of a needle than the rich man to enter heaven. As I began to read the scriptures, I began to see from Genesis, I see that God made man and he said we should be fruitful and multiply. So I'm saying this to Christians to know that it's okay for you to be wealthy. God's design when he created you was to be wealthy. You see that God delights in the prosperity of his servant. You see that God in the time of famine blessed Isaac and he became rich 100-fold. You see that it's God who teaches you to prosper and to make wealth. You need to debunk the mindset that because you're a Christian, you are not supposed to be wealthy. Some people feel like, I'm against my faith if I'm wealthy. No. We see time and again that it's God's will for us to prosper and be in good wealth. I needed to lay that foundation. Also, there's this thing of, I want to marry a rich man or a rich woman. If money comes into your hand and you don't understand the principle, the money is going to fly. We see, I don't want to mention names, but there are major people in Nigeria that we knew that at some point they were major people. But when they handed the inheritance over to their children, we found out that most of their corporations died. How many of us know that there were rich men in this land that were distributing money like normal, but when they handed the wealth, because they did not teach them the principles, the money also left. So that is another myth, that you have to inherit wealth to be wealthy. 78% of millionaires in the world did not inherit wealth. You can be part of that 78. Are we together? And so another thing is people always feel I have a third class. I had somebody talking to me and she felt because she had a third class, things couldn't go All those are myths, And there's another thing that goes on is this entitlement mentality. When you get to the age of 18, you are responsible for yourself. You are responsible for your outcomes. We're very lucky in Nigeria where our parents still pay our university fees. Abroad, they teach you how to take student loan and you're responsible for yourself. This entitlement mentality that my parents are supposed to do something. I heard one thing, I was very annoyed. They said the man was waiting for his father's pension to be able to start a business. I said, what kind of irresponsibility is this? You are responsible for yourself. No uncle, no auntie, no boss, nothing. You are responsible for your actions. All right, as we look at that mindset, I hope that this opens our eyes, to understand better, and deal with those limiting mindsets. So after dealing with the limiting mindset, it's very important for us to identify what our goals are. Without goals, you don't know if you are hitting or missing. That's the truth. You don't know if you've gotten the mark or not. That's the truth. And it's important. Before you start on your journey to financial freedom, you have to ask yourself, where am I? You need to see yourself, understand your money personality, understand the debts you carry. What are you carrying so many debts? Are you okay as you are? What exactly, where are you? How much you earn? You have to do a personal evaluation and then you can start. So we're moving on to, after you've evaluated yourself, you've set a smart goal, a realistic goal. The next thing is you have to start saving. I found out that some people feel like until they have big sums of money, they cannot save. That's a very big lie because it's a pattern of behavior. If you cannot save, I kid you not, and I tell you from people that could not save when they had 100,000, they're earning 1 million naira and they're not still saving. And these are people that I know. So it's a pattern of behavior. Right? If you cannot start, your money itself is seed and bread. I want to look at this analogy. This analogy is a simulation of what happens if you save 25,000 naira every month for 15 years. So how many of us know people that have worked for 15 years? How many of those 15 years people have 70 million, 40 million in their bank accounts that you know? This is a simple principle. I'm just talking about saving now, not even investing. So if you start putting 25,000 naira for 15 years, this is the payout amount you have, compounding year on year. I'm going to look at the next example. If you say, okay, I'm a very conservative person. My goals are not ambitious. I don't want to go to the moon. I'm just okay. God will be using me to bless the community people in my house. How many of us have known people that have worked for 30 years? How many of them have up to 148 million naira in their bank account? Is there a question now? What am I trying to say? I'm trying to emphasize that it's a pattern of behavior. So if I earn and prioritize 25 million naira every month for the next 30 years at 10% per annum, not even per month, compounding month on month, I would at least have, in 30 years, 148 million naira. So now I understand the time value of money. So you bought gas at 3,000 last year. Gas is at 8,300 this year. How many of us are on that table? That thing is to shock me. The way the inflation and everything is going, food is going up. So I also understand that the time value of money will not obviously cover for this. So what happens? When you see this, you realize that, okay, the time value of money. However, this shows us that it's a deliberate habit to constantly, with what you have, you start. Don't wait till you're earning the millions. Don't wait. If you're earning 10,000 naira, if you cannot be disciplined enough to keep 10%, then I don't know how, you cannot receive help. You need, no, I kid you not. You see, everybody always says money is never enough. Problem not the finish. We used to hear all these terms. Then you now find out that there's rent. You see, that same, at least that 10% you keep aside, it keeps building. What does saving do for you? Saving in itself is not how you build lasting wealth. Saving is a system that helps you to prepare for opportunities so you can take advantage of them. So let me give you an example. There was a time I did this insurance thing for my son, and I was doing like, how much was I doing every month? By the time I reached at 3.5 years, by the time I checked, it was over 500,000. That was as at even then. Why? And this was something that was, how much did I put aside? 15,000 or something. That was for his insurance when I was doing it then. As small as putting aside 15,000, and it was like how many years later, I just saw 500K, and I used it to do something else for him. I'm trying to say that it's not in the amount. I need to debunk that myth. I have too many people telling me that until somebody was telling me that he has worked for over 18 years. He said until he earns a particular level of salary. And this man, his wife, is not working. And I just looked at him, I was like, what exactly is going on through this man's head? You know, you need to protect yourself. The first rule that everything I say about saving, your money is seed and bread. It is seed for you to sow. It is bread for you to eat. And so when you look at there are different budget rules that people preach about. The most important thing here is to understand the 3 pillars. So you have your savings investment, you have your wants, and you have your needs. However, depending on your earning capacity, some people earn so much money that their needs are not even up to 20% of their salary. So they have the capacity to do more. Do you understand? So this table, it just gives you a rough estimate. Every month, do yourself a favor. Before salary comes, divide the money you have, even if it's 5,000. What is going to go under the need bracket? I know my time is almost up, so I'm going to rush now. So this is very important. You have to budget. There's no way, I can't help you if you don't budget. You have to start somewhere. And you must have the habit of earning less than you earn. So somebody, immediately they increased the salary. The next thing he did was to move from mainland to island. And I'm like, the Jews. So somebody was telling me about the Jews. I think I actually want to do a study on the Jews. I'm fascinated by them. So from before they give birth to children, they start eating the kind of food that will enable their children to think well. Jews. Before they spend money, they must have made 7 times that money. So if I put 2,000 naira and my interest is 1,000, they must have made 7,000 on that thing before they spend it. Why won't you now say that? Why won't they be among the first? We hear the rumors that they are among the top 1% in the world. Why? Because they have, not only do they know how to make wealth, they have passed it on to their children. That to the point that they are eating nuts, eating fish, so the child will come out intelligent. This thing is not, it's possible. And for me, I look forward to a future where we see, all of us will just say, I just chatted, I saw that there's this real estate deal that is so and so. How much will you bring? 50M. Bring 50M. All of us bring 50M. We buy this thing off. When Christians begin to hold the world power, we're the ones that will be making decisions. The way that they are opening border for only Dangote because of what he's doing for our community, they are creating policies to support Dangote. By the time all of us come together, that is how we build it. I strongly believe. So for me, it's a future I see where we have empowered Christians. And it begins by you taking that one step to save at least 10% is really low, but save at least 10% of what you have. And so as I said, your money is seed and bread. What do you do with seed? You plant it, right? Not the one that the first interest, this MTN, they gave us interest. This one, everybody bought MTN. Next thing, you have spent it. No. You invest it back. The power of compounding, we saw 148 million because someone just saved, not even invested, 25,000 for 30 years at 10% an annum. Are we together? Yeah. Another thing is we like debt in Nigeria. You will buy, so somebody bought a Benz and was looking for 2K to fuel the car. And I'm like, what exactly is happening here? You go and buy human hair or 500K, you pay 16 times. When I ask you how much you have in your bank account, nothing. Ashwabi, you are there. So even parties these days are very expensive. By the time I hear how much it is to do the ashwabi, to do the makeup, so we have people now that do only gele and they collect thousands. Then we have people that do only makeup. I'm not saying those things are wrong. Forget it. This baby boy, baby girl life, we will leave it. But you have to put soft life, yes. But the thing is, you have to put the right steps in place. If I've invested something and got it 7 times this thing, I will use the investment and do other things because I already have a forest. A forest doesn't give me one tree. A forest is made up of multiple trees. So when I put my seed, I have a tree. That tree, I have a forest. I can be plucking all the fruit and be eating it. The issue for us is deferred gratification. I have 20 minutes. Oh my goodness, I have to hurry up. Deferred gratification. There's a time for everything. There was a time I wouldn't wear this human hair, but now I'm wearing it. And guess what I planned for it? Should I tell you guys how I planned for it? So I have my priorities for the year. Every year I enter into the year saying, what do I want to achieve this year? Is it real estate I want to enter? Is it telecoms I want to enter? I have priorities. So at some point I used to just put my human hair as my December allowance. And I'll buy it. I don't even have to stress anybody. I just go and buy my human hair because I plan for it. Do you understand? All right, building an emergency fund before savings. As I said earlier, every expense you make, for you to see what you are doing, have a book, Excel sheet, whatever it is that works for you. If you buy bottled water of 100 naira, write it down. What that does for you is helps you estimate how much you spend in a month, right? So when you know how much you spend in a month, you know how much you should be earning. By the time you look at your goal, okay, my goal is to go to space. I need 5 billion to go to space. I'm earning 100,000 naira now, and I'm spending 120,000. There's something wrong there, right? It helps you correct. So write your expenses down. Defer gratification. Other people, what they do is that they just put automation. Every month, they have a standing instruction. Before they even see the money, it has gone. For people that need discipline, it helps. Avoid lifestyle inflation. Please, when you get a new job, the first thing you should do is not to spend that money. It's to see how you can make more from that money before you spend it, right? Another thing that people don't usually talk about is I see people, they just say, I'm earning 100,000 naira, I want to start investing. I always tell people as a rule, you don't start investing immediately. When I use the word immediately, without having an emergency fund. An emergency fund is basically a fund that says, if I stop working in the next 3, 6, 12 months, can I take care of my expenses? So for example, I use 50,000 naira to feed every month. I use 10,000 naira for clothing. All my expenses, maybe 70,000 in a month. My emergency fund should be 70 times 3 minimum. So my first financial goal should be to build an emergency fund. So you know these people that, do you see it on your WhatsApp status, they say distress sale? Who has seen that thing before? To avoid distress sale. So what does that mean is, if I just go and start investing, what happens is when I need money, I'll close my investment. And I might close it at a time I don't need to close it. So I might make one, I might make a loss, or I might not even make a profit. Have you seen that happen? So what do? You prepare. Those scenarios will happen. Life happens. Your car can have problem. Your phone can have problem. Your laptop can have problem. Build an emergency fund. This thing I didn't understand, so this one I learned it the hard way. So initially, when I started saving and I wanted to invest, I just started investing. There was one time I needed money. Like I didn't plan that month very well. I needed money, and I didn't want to start asking people for money. It was a case of, do I have to sell something I had and lose the value? Because I was going to lose how much on that thing. So I now said, you know what, I began to research, and I found out that it's actually a thing. Some people have emergency funds for their families, and if you, for example, I'm married and I have 2 kids, emergency fund that will cover me and my family, at least for 3 months. When you have an emergency fund, as a rule, I recommend, have that before you start investing. So by the time you've built it, every month you built it, in the next 6 months, 1 year, you build an emergency fund. The next year, you can now start saying, do I want to enter into real estate? Do I want to enter into, how can I enter into all this market? And you do it at your own ease. And unfortunately, some people will lose their jobs. When you lose your job, you are covered for the next 3 months. So if you don't want to have an emergency fund for 6 months, 12 months, 3 months, you can start with 3 months, a minimum of 3 months. At least in that 3.5 months, you might have seen something else you're doing and all of that. Are we together? Francis Bacon always says, money is a great servant but a bad master. You do not want to be ruled by money. So we started with savings. And for me, savings is the fundamental. Yes, savings help you to keep your money and make you take advantage of opportunities. Then we're going to investing. Nowadays, we have 1,000,001 apps. And I see people running from one app to the other because they're looking for a way to make 100% profit overnight. And guys, let's do this thing the right way. A lot of us have lost money jumping from one app to the other. So you are in 10 apps and you have $10 on those apps. What exactly is the mindset you're going through? What exactly is happening? You cannot make money like that. You have to, behaviors are systematic. So it's a case of For example, you can have a roadmap. 1, I build my emergency fund. 2, I get into this industry. 3, it's a step-by-step process, so you don't hurt yourself. There's no need to run to different. We'll look at the app, but investing is putting your money to work for you. That's the short form. It's not just keeping your money aside. And there are different types. There's low risk, medium risk, high risk. We talked about money personalities before. Those high spenders we spoke about, those ones are the ones that will high risk. They can put 70% of the money they have in high risk, 80%, because that's their personality. For some people, the savers, you most likely see them in low risk assets, right? Who remember the money personalities we talked about earlier? So it influences what you can do, right? And so there's low risks. Low risks usually are safe assets. The money is not really growing. So for example, most of our low risk investments are less than 10% or 10%. Inflation is already double digits. So invariably, you're already losing money, right? But you can see the money. The time value, the 500K of last year, it's not the 500K of this year. Low risk investments are like that. Do you get? But they are safe. People that don't like wahala, they like to be seeing their bank statement and they'll be feeling cool. In reality, low risk investment for young people like us, we should not have all our assets in low risks. We should be, why is it called a risk? It means that something might happen against what we thought it would happen. So it means that the way you are putting your money in that bank, if the bank closed tomorrow, if you have 10 million in a bank, the insurance is only how many? About 500,000. Sure you know, Abby? Do you know? If a bank should close today, and you have 10 million in the bank, the insurance, the last time I checked, was only 500,000. So by the time they are selling the assets, only 500,000 in you get. Do you know? So guess what? Even you saying that you are putting your money in a bank as low risk is a risk. As young as we are, this is the time for us to start taking calculated risk. Not that you just jump into the market. Even that interest account you think is safe in the bank, yeah, it has its own risk. That's why it's called a risk. But people forget this risk factor and think they say safe. And so that's why they always, they took my money. It's a risk. Even medium risk, you can see like global shares, local shares, real estate gurus in the house. I can't wait to learn. Then there's high risk, crypto, forex, agritech. These are very volatile. You can make big, you can go big or go home. As a young person, I'll show you an investment stuff for young people. Like I said earlier, you need to be able to say, if I have 100,000, how do I want to allocate it? 10,000, if I have 100,000 that I can use for investment, I will not put all my eggs in one basket because if it falls, it breaks. So this thing helped me. There was a time I did some investment. Let me not lie, I was greedy. Let me say it like that. I knew that this investment was very funny. But the investment risk, the interest was just too sweet. So, but I still had small sense. I didn't put everything there. This saved me because when that thing went bad, I felt bad obviously. Now, nobody loves to lose money. But I didn't want to commit suicide. So I've heard of people that committed suicide. When, I kid you not, people actually kill themselves. When they put the money in one place, they kill themselves when the thing goes bad. That's why you will know that everything is jeje, but you have a part of your income that is for growth. I'm trying to rush. Whenever you're investing, one thing at the back of your mind, one, you want to either make money, right? Or you want to take advantage of the interest rate or whatever the case might be. So capital preservation is important, but when you are looking at high risk, they are the major growths. Capital preservation might not be part of it because yes, it's a gamble. A new fintech is being floated and in the next 10 years has the potential to raise 10x. It's a gamble. So what do we advise for young people? So do asset allocation. Don't have only risky assets. Do you understand? Don't have everything in low risk. Low risk, you're just going to keep your money there. Medium, you can do 50-50, depending on your personality. See this Nigerian couple, everybody knows them now. I showed the girls, the ladies the last time. They fled away with Nigerians' money too. They got partnership in another country, what they call citizenship. Everybody, I know this story, most of us know it because this is actually a Christian couple that most of us know about, right? So this Ponzi schemes, they are always going to be Ponzi schemes. You have to be very careful. All right, so now this is why I just want to spend some time. there are different assets. So you're asking me, Ruth, I want to create a roadmap, right? How can I build wealth? It's very systematic. First thing on my list, do you have debt? Work towards clearing your debt. When you work towards clearing your debt, build your emergency fund. When you build your emergency fund, depending on what you think, 3 to 12 months, begin to look at options. Cash to cash equivalent, savings, treasury bills, all those things are under cash or cash equivalent. So they're not major risk here. Then you also have commodities. I didn't even know palm oil was a thing, but apparently there's so much money in palm oil for the people that know how to do it. So largely how I thrive is I work with people that I know that know road. So I see you know road, I ask you a question, I'm sure you know road, I work with you. I don't trade on the stock market, I don't trade on Bitcoin, but I work with people that know road because I don't have the time to study the market as much as required for traders. Work with people that know road, not fraudulent people, people that have limits, people that know when they have losses up to 40%, they get out of the market and they don't lose your whole money. People that are disciplined, because not everybody can know all the analytics, but know enough to help you build a plan. So by the time they're talking to you, you know what exactly it is they're saying. Fixed income like bonds, all of that is also an opportunity for you. Equity, owning a share in a company, there are different metrics to identify what you want to. For people that want to enter and you're not sure what to do, a lot of people start with mutual funds, but the interest is might as well put it in high yield savings. Actually kill themselves. But long term, a 50-year-old person putting his money in digital currency and he's seeing the carpet go like this, he can have a heart attack. But a young person, you have the capacity to still get back into the pool and make more money. If you want, so somebody was telling me, so me, I was very, very conservative. I didn't want digital currency and all. So he was telling me of how he put 80K in Ethereum, and that 80K worth of stock is worth $2,000 now. And he was not doing audio money. And he's not a massive, trader. Do you get? So if you are young like me, stocks, bonds, digital currencies, mutual fund, real estate, there are real estate opportunities. Don't wait till you can afford Banana Island. I see so many people make that mistake. Just make sure that the person is going to talk to us about real estate. But whoever you're going to be working with should be somebody that understands the market. Check that area. As in the town planning, get a lawyer. Do they have C of O? Do they have all the necessary documents? Has that place been segregated as a commercial area or a residential area? In the town planning, was it a road and you bribed the person and built your house? You saw that person shout on Instagram last week, Tonto DK's ex, right? That house was worth millions of naira. And did you see the demolition? And I was like, that's why you need to do your due diligence. Go to a place where you know that they're not doing dispute, maybe on money law. All those things are very important. And guess what? How did I start in real estate? Real estate, I started it by entering small. It was a case of you pay instrumental payment. So there are a lot of all of that. Don't wait until you can afford Banana Island. As you are doing your investment and God is blessing you and you're increasing your capacity to earn, you'll be able to take advantage of those opportunities. But any other opportunity that you get real counsel, make sure you get there. Then alternative, so for 30s to 40s, what should you be investing in? Stocks. Okay, I think is the next slide. I'm almost done, sorry. It's like, sorry. Okay. I have it here, don't worry. So for 30s to 40s, what should you be investing in? Stocks, bond, digital currencies. Yes, I said digital currencies. From your 20s to 40s, it's something we can play in. Mutual funds for now, like I said, it's better you just do high interest savings. So if you want to mix, your stock, like, these are just some of the links I put for people that want to know what they can use. So alternative investment, palm oil, agri-tech, get in there. So somebody that taught me how to, as I was learning from people, I found out that what are things that people always use. In Nigeria today, 60% of our income is spent on food, right? Right? An average house, Not someone that is earning top 1% that has so much money. But an average house spends 60% of. It shows me that that market is ever increasing. We're over 200 million people. Yes, there's a high risk involved there, but it's a place to play. So you need to now look for people that you trust. Somebody was telling me about an opportunity in Jos where somebody will farm for me, not necessarily going through an interest in 5 months, because I'm not going through the brokerage and all those things. It's as much as was telling me, for 5, I will give 300 and they'll give me nice interest rate. So there are opportunities for feeding. Everybody eats. So if you don't know what to invest, it starts with what you know. People eat. Another place, what do people use again? They use data, right? Right? Who doesn't use data here? This one, all of you are doing like you don't press phone. Everybody uses data. So another thing to do is to look out for opportunities in the telecommunication space. You start from the known to the unknown. So you can start from all those ones before you enter into the digital currencies and all of that. Even the digital currencies, there's still so much to learn. I'm still learning. I'm working with people that have been there for a while. I'm still learning. Do you understand? But start from what you understand. Dangote is somebody too that the government is doing policies favoring him. You can look at it, but you just know when you are entering. Are we together? In your 40s and 50s, I think I'm putting it here is a recommendation. It's not necessarily cast in stone. I don't think you should be playing if you're in your early 50s in cryptocurrencies, because right now you're consolidating your wealth. It's a huge risk, except maybe you have, whatever the case may be. You are the ones that want to be more in treasury bills, because it's assumed that you have larger capital, and so your capital, but you see, time you see the 8%, it makes a lot of sense to you because you're dealing in billions, millions. Do you understand? It makes more sense to you than a small person like us that were still growing. Do you understand? So asset class by age. What's the next step for everybody here? For everybody here, I really want you to believe that, yes, you can create wealth. The next step for me is I want to see people who have created a roadmap. What do I mean a roadmap? What is the next step you need to take to get to where your goals are? Because you have to start now, and start with as little as what you have. So I want to hear people saying, I created an investment plan. Like the ladies are blowing my mind. The savings challenge we did to build their emergency fund, people have been sending me their screenshots of how much they've saved in dollars. Let me day and I'll go, Pabi. I'm super excited about that. And what this does is that they've already started a pattern of behavior. The next thing for them is to start looking at opportunities to invest, right? So you guys can join us. I didn't say this, but your assets should not be in Naira alone. Assets should not be in Naira alone. It's not a stable currency. Is dollar a stable currency? It's not stable currency, but it's not as stable as Naira. It's more stable than Naira. We are an import-dependent nation. So that's why we find out that dollar drives our economy, because we're import-dependent. So you cannot afford to have your 1 million Naira sitting in a bank account in Naira. If you don't like apps, no wahala. Convert it to dollar and put it back in that bank account. Are we together? Because I had too many people. Somebody said something. He had 500,000. He converted it to Naira to put it in fixed deposit. By the time he converted it back to dollar, he couldn't even convert it back to the $1,000 that he had before. It was less than $1,000. And this is a period of, is it 6 months or a year? So you cannot afford, no matter how you are doing it, to split that thing into the 50, if you still want to do like that, 50 in Naira minimum, 50 in dollar. Are we together? Okay, so finally, I think what I did is that I know people always ask me, don't be too carried away with apps. When you have a plan, you can now find an app that suits you, because most of these apps do the same thing. Most of these asset management companies do the same thing. The thing is, you have a plan. What do you want to do? You want to invest in stocks. Do you want to do it by yourself with an app, or you want to go to a traditional company? That is it. So they're all doing they all do the same thing. And so I just put, if you want this list, I can send it to you after the class. Just, write your name. And together, let's make this declarations before I hand over. Sorry, I'm rushing my time. Can we all stand up together, please? Yeah. Say, I'm a money magnet. I attract value-adding opportunities into my life. I have the capacity to build wealth. I am empowered to make, manage, multiply, and preserve money. I prosper in all currencies. I prosper on all sides. I am valuable, so I attract the right kind of value. I enter into profitable ventures and excel. I walk in abundance, wealth, and wisdom. I forgive myself of my past mistakes. Everybody has past money mistakes. You need to forgive yourself to move on. I enter into a new season of abundance. Thank you very much. You guys are amazing. Lastly, before I go, at this age, one thing we all must not forget, we must increase our capacity to earn. So what do I mean? We have to keep learning a new skill. It's not a luxury, it's a necessity. When you learn a new skill, if you know you're learning any less than 1 million naira now, know that you need to increase your capacity to earn. If every month you earn less than 1 million naira, know you need to increase your capacity to earn. Because the more you increase your value, the more you can take advantage of opportunities. Do you understand? So any personal development, as I am now, I just got admitted into a program to study financial analysis again, the scholarship program. Like, I'm learning. Because the only way I can add value is if I keep improving myself. This is something that young people need to learn. It's not a bobo, it's important. You only attract the kind of value you are able to give to the market. Everybody looks for value these days. So please, make sure you are taking at least one professional personal transformation course, soft skill, anything. At least 2 certificates a year, and it doesn't have to even be paid. On Coursera, you can apply for scholarships, and they will allow you to take those courses, and you get the certificate. Are we together? I know there was something else I want to say. In case I remember it, I'll let you know. All right. Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Ma. Please keep clapping. Keep clapping. Wow, very insightful. Very, very enlightening. Yes, I'm part of the emergency fund group. I actually just remembered and sent my screenshot for May rather. That was so insightful. For those that are just coming, I can see new faces here. You can just say hello to your neighbor. Hi. Yeah, so I'll just go over. This is Mrs. Ruth, the person that just spoke to us right now. She's a financial expert, an investment enthusiast. She's a product manager, a business process analyst, a customer experience specialist. She's also a pastor. Yeah, she's also a pastor. And writing on the back of as she was talking about her reason for taking personal finance seriously, being able to make impact for the world, like I was just having ideas of how I'm going to put my money confession together. And thankfully, she said some things. Who remembers money confession? Pastor Ayo spoke about it, I think, during EFC. He said that we should put our money confessions together. Yes, so that's one take home. I think we should do that. I already have something. Okay. I feel like I should even just share it.
Please,
very short, nothing too serious. You can say it after me. Money comes to me daily.
Money comes to me daily.
I am not just financially self-sufficient.
I'm not just financially self-sufficient.
I have abundance to impact my world.
I have abundance to impact my wealth.
I have generational wealth.
Generational wealth.
God teaches me to prosper.
God teaches me to prosper
and make wealth.
And make wealth.
Therefore, I have attained financial freedom.
I have attained financial freedom.
All right, put your hands together. Great. Money is
just to point
seed.
on that. She said we should follow No Road. I don't know No Road.
Yeah.
So from now on, officially, I'm not your PA.
I'll
follow you.
All right. Do you want to bring in the next guest?
Well, I'll give that honors to you because.
Okay. All right. We'll be bringing in our next speaker, Mr. Ayo Odeleye, Minister Ayo Odeleye, real estate expert and valuer. He's the managing partner of Biodu Odeleye and Co. He's a pioneer national chairman of the Young Estate Surveyors and Valuers Forum. For everyone that wants to go into this real estate thing and the buzz, keep your attention on him and everything you'll be saying as he teaches us.
Well, that No Road, though.
All right. Well, we are in church, so I can say praise the Lord, Abby. Praise God. Wow, Pastor Mrs. Ruth Ozigbo, thank you so much for that session. Thank you. That was a powerful one. I don't know where I want to start from again. I just thank you all for coming. I'm sure you enjoyed the first session. Let me just start with one or two experiences I've had about saving. And a friend of mine last year, he just called me and said, Ayo, it has happened though. Before that time, he used to call me and say, oh, Ayo, go and pick up this bag of rice somewhere, or flour, yam flour. I'll pick it up and I'll tell him, what are you investing in? He said, it's agro investment. It's real. I said, okay, oh, be careful. Okay, or just introduce me to it. Let me know what it is about. But before he even introduced me to it, he just called me one day and said, it has happened. I said, what happened? 5 million has gone. Eh? Where? What happened? Before he even told me 5 million had gone, the next thing I heard was that, he was in the hospital. I said, what happened to you, Ayo? What happened? He said, Ayo, that's my business, 5 million. I said, what happened to 5 million? So thank you so much for that. Yes, we are young. We can take the shock absorber. But please, let's be very, very careful. Let's be very, very careful with where we invest our funds, our money. I'd like to start by reading Matthew 21, verse 33. Matthew 21, verse 33. For you to understand that even Jesus was really particular about real estate. He understood. Most of his parables were examples. He used parables to explain to people so that they would understand what he is saying, and he uses those examples because they were things they were doing at that time. I hope you understand that. He used crops, arable examples, cattle, and in this one he used land as an example. So it shows to us that even at that time, Jesus was into real estate. He understood real estate. So Matthew 21 verse 33 says, listen to another parable. There was a master of a house who planted a vineyard and put a hedge around it and dug a wine vat in it and built a tower. Then he let it out for rent to tenants and went into another country. Praise the Lord. All right, on that note, I'll just quickly go to my presentation. Yeah. Thank you so much. All right, once again, my name is Ayodeji Odele. You can follow me on my social media handles. My LinkedIn is there already displayed. All right, quickly, today we are on a journey to Wall Street. Are we? On a journey to Wall Street, and quickly I'll just be telling us briefly. I want us to just discuss about Wall Street, what it is about, what to do on the journey towards going to Wall Street, and then talk about real estate and give you some real life scenarios. All right, briefly. You've heard about Wall Street. What can you tell me about Wall Street? Sorry, media team. I like moving around, so please, you just bear with me. Someone, I want this to be interactive. For me, I'm a very, I'm brief. So I don't talk too much, but I want us to interact. Anyone, my sister. Wall Street. Thank you. Yeah, please, just. You have a mic there, please. No, just help me. Wall Street. What do you understand by Wall Street? Yeah, it's in New York. But, okay, yeah.
In New York.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think.
All right. Thank you so much for that. Yes, ma. Please, can you hear me give her the mic? She wants to say something. Okay.
Okay, so the little I know is, Wall Street is more about the money-making moves, the stocks,
Thank you so much. That's where, yes, sir.
It reminds me of this Wall Street movie.
Yeah, I think there's a movie titled Journey to Wall Street. Wolf of Wall Street. Yeah. All right. Thank you so much for that. And, I just want to start by saying that for me, Wall Street is a mindset. And Pastor Ruth mentioned that if you would start saving, you need to have a mindset. You need to condition your art towards that. And for me, Wall Street majorly is a mindset. I'll explain why I'm saying this to you. Yes, it's the financial hub of the global world. The world is the financial hub of the world, because if Wall Street sneezes, Nigeria self will catch cold. Everywhere, everywhere will catch cold. Wall Street was the recession, economic recession we had in 2008 started from Wall Street. And, that's where you have all these business gurus and, brilliant people, real estate, insurance brokers, bankers, mortgage experts. So now, in Wall Street, money does not sleep in Wall Street. They say money does not sleep in Wall Street. Do you know why? Their funds are everywhere. If we are sleeping in Nigeria, in America, they are just waking up, Abby, or they are in the evening. In Australia, their funds are diversified. She also mentioned that their funds is all over the place. So money does not sleep in Wall Street, and Wall Street is a powerful hub. If you are in the Wall Street, if you have a business in Wall Street, you are a powerful person. You are very, very strong. And I'm giving us these examples of Wall Street, so that we'll be able to relate it with the theme for this event. Also, Wall Street has a global reach. Just the example I gave about the recession that happened in 2008, from Wall Street, you can touch every aspect of the world. And it's a place where wealth is created. There is wealth creation. If you set up your business in Wall Street, within months, you start, cashing out. You start, smiling to the bank. And finally, the foundation of everything in Wall Street is the real estate. Is real estate. Majority of the funds, majority of the investments that they do there, yes, they go into stocks, they go into, I'll give us some derivatives of real estate later on. They go into every aspect, but whatever they want to do, they need real estate to do that. And that's why we are very important. I forgot to mention that I'm an estate surveyor and valuer. I need to say that because Pastor Ruth said, call lawyers if you want to go and do a search at Lands Bureau to do title perfection. Before you call lawyers, call estate surveyors and valuers, because we are trained to do that. Most of our colleagues are the land officers. Most of the land officers in Lands Bureau, they are estate surveyors and valuers. Sorry, lawyers in the house. I'm not taking business out of your hand. All right. So you call estate surveyors because we are the professionals in that field. We are land administrators. All right. Now, on the road to Wall Street, what are you meant to take note of? Just, what's the first session, thank you, the organizers, for bringing that first session, making that session the first before mine, because, she explained a lot of things that, would be a foundation for what I will say here today. Number one, for you to enter Wall Street, you need that cash flow, regular income. You need regular income. You cannot stay in Wall Street and say this month I made a loss, next month. No, regular income. That cash flow must be there for you. The other thing is that your investments must be secured. There must be security of investment. In whatever you are putting your money into, in whatever you are investing into, there must be security there. The other thing is that what Wall Street teaches us, remember I said Wall Street for me is a mindset. it's not about, so Wall Street is just like Marina Road, Broad Street on the island. It's just similar to that. But you can do business and excel without being in Broad Street. And there are a lot of investment, there are a lot of companies that went to Wall Street and they were flogged out, within months. All right, so now you need to learn how to break out of tax and, reduce your tax obligations if you would really go into Wall Street. I'm not teaching you to evade tax, but I'm telling us that, number one, we need to, we need to ensure that we pay our taxes, and also, while paying the taxes, let's know what we need to do to avoid some unnecessary expenditures, that would, if you believe that you pay all the taxes that government levy again on you, you might not have any business to run again. In Wall Street, your investments must continue to appreciate. There must be an appreciation of value of whatever investment you are going into. Your investment must continue to move from $1 million, get profit to $2 million. I'm sorry I'm mentioning dollars. She said we should diversify, so naira and dollars. All right, and you build equity. For you to journey and enter into that sphere of saying I'm in Wall Street, you need to build wealth, you need to build your equity, which is similar to what Pastor Ruth mentioned. And for me, equity is your worth. So let me explain it this way. If a company goes bankrupt and they sell all the assets of the company, whatever value they arrive at or after selling, that's the equity of the company. That's the asset of the company. Do you understand? So you need to build your worth as an individual. You need to know what you carry. Not spiritually now. Financially. Money-wise. You need to build your wealth. The other thing is that ensure you diversify your portfolio. She has mentioned that. I won't dwell so much on that. And then leverage. I mentioned that there are derivatives of assets or of investments all around. And real estate has so many derivatives. And you need to leverage on those derivatives, those products. You need to leverage on the opportunities that you have. Don't think that you must carry all the load by yourself. Okay, let me say this. The recession that we experienced in 2008, the global recession in 2008, what happened to the economy? The mortgage institutions outside there started lending to subprimes. Sorry, I hope, well, some of us will understand that. They started lending to subprimes. What do we mean by subprimes? Those that are not eligible to earn mortgages. You understand? They started having access to mortgages, and over time, it became a problem. Do you understand? Now, what did they do? And that's the mindset in Wall Street. They saw a need, and they leveraged on that. Guess what? A lot of people cashed out on that singular decision of giving mortgages to the subprimes. I hope you understand that. So, now, adjust your risk. She said a lot about risk, so I wouldn't mention that. And then you need to have your investment hedged against inflation. And shockingly, or not shockingly, fortunately, the only investment that I know of, you can say because I'm an estate surveyor and valuer, that can help you attain and achieve all these things in Wall Street as you grow is real estate. And why did I say that? It's because of the characteristics of real estate. What do we trade in real estate? We trade interest. Interest in, for instance, if I own this chair, the interest inherent in this chair is mine. I might not be the one using the chair all the time, but because I have an interest and I have paid for the interest, I can lay claim on that chair. I hope you understand my explanation. All right. So now, real estate. Let me just give us some few characteristics of real estate. There is no fixed maturity to real estate. You know, we have fixed deposits. We have stocks. Maybe stocks, sometimes it goes up, it comes down. But in real estate, there is no fixed maturity. It keeps going. It keeps going. In Nigeria, you have 99 years to the end of 99 years. After 99 years, you can renew it. So it keeps going. And the other thing is that it is tangible. You can touch it. The crypto coin, the Bitcoin, the cryptocurrency and everything, you can't touch. Real estate, you can touch. You can see with your eyes. Although I know we are, we are in an age that encourages people going into real estate without seeing whatever they are buying. But one of the first rules that we were taught in school is that what you have not seen, don't pay for it. What you have not seen in real estate, what you have not seen, don't pay for it. So you can see it by proxy, maybe not yourself, but by proxy or something, but make sure someone has seen that property because it has to be tangible. Property is tangible. Now, it requires management. Real estate requires management. Pastor Ruth also mentioned something about, families that left wealth, parents that left wealth, but because the children couldn't manage it properly, the wealth just went off like that. What's the reason? Aside the fact that they were not taught wealth management, those assets were not properly managed. And real estate entails, it requires management. If you don't manage your real estate, you won't be able to enjoy rental value from it. You even if you want to sell later on, you might not be able to have that capital appreciation. Now, it is also a volatile market. Real estate market is a volatile market. What do I mean by that? If the economy is not good, it affects real estate. And the factor, the interplay of demand and supply affects it also. Do you understand? So it's today, real estate might be juicy. Tomorrow, you might not earn that money that you thought that is secured initially. So it's a volatile market. Then it involves a huge transaction cost. Number one, the land value is so expensive in some areas. The cost of approval, cost of transfer is so huge. By the time you pay people like me 10% or 5%, and you add that to the already expensive land, then you understand what we are saying. So real estate has high transaction cost. For you to transfer real estate, it takes a while. So we say real estate is not liquid. It's illiquid. Very, very illiquid. Plus or minus, it will take you 3 to 6 months if you want to sell a property for you to get that done in the market. Except it's a very, very, very luxurious, as in, when I say luxurious, very, very good property, and you have a buyer up front. So lower liquidity, investment performance is good in real estate. And real estate is also indestructible. You can, unless we have this, in Niger Delta, this oil spillage or any earthquake. So you can't destroy land, you can't destroy property. It is immobile. It is immobile. You cannot move it from one place to another. So if your land is in Banana Island, you cannot move it to Ajegunle. it is immobile. And that's one of the good things about real estate. It is also very unique. There is no two properties that are the same. It will surprise you that the all we are in, if I will value it, I'll value it differently from that all. And they are in the same land. They are on the same land. Yes. So there are so properties are unique. And real estate is unique. Real estate is all about location, location, and location. What did I say? Location, location, and location. Yes, it's about location. A lot of our parents made the mistake at some point. You know, I heard from history that Lagos-Abeokuta Express Road was constructed long ago before they started doing this Okwebi Road, Ikeja Road. So a lot of our parents went to buy land in that axis with the hope that there will be value appreciation. But guess what? Okwebi, Allen is more expensive than properties at that axis. So location is actually very important in real estate. Then real estate helps build your financial health and your lifestyle. It's, you know, for some people, they just own real estate for, why will someone like Davido buy another property in Banana Island? I think he has one. And I recently heard he bought another one. A land, Abi. So what does he need it for? For, you know, social class, ego. And you can hold real estate for that purpose and also for personal goals. I needed to mention all those characteristics, you know, so that you understand what you are going into and why you need to invest in real estate. In real estate, there are three types of people. We have the property owners, we have the property buyers, and we have the renters. Which one are you currently? Rentals, yes. Don't be shy about it. Yes, because we need to grow from rentals to be property buyers and then eventually property owners. There is nothing bad in being a rental. There are some, I know a country, I can't remember if it is Germany or something, if they go into another territory, they don't buy assets there. They rent. Because the moment, and the next slide, you know, just explains to us some, I wouldn't dwell on that, the merits and demerits of owning a property and renting a property. Why do they do that? The moment there's a problem in a country, they don't want to be attached to that country. They just zoom, they move, they pack their load and leave. You understand? But as people, as Christians, journeying to Wall Street, we need to be property what? Buyers and property owners. Please, you need to help me with the timer so that I don't overshoot my time. Now, the ways to invest in real estate. There are different ways to invest in real estate. The first one I'll mention is rental properties. Rental properties. You know, I mentioned that you start from rental to property buyer, then property owners. But investing in rental property is not about you being a rental, a tenant. It's about you investing in a property that you believe that, a rented apartment, that you can turn over the returns from that property. Let me give you an example. You see a property, maybe not looking so good, and you approach the landlord and say, normally the value of that property is 1 million naira, for instance. And you approach the owner and say, the landlord, sir, I like this your property, but because of the condition it is in, I want to rent it at 500,000 naira. There's a lot of giggling. You eventually arrive at maybe 700, but let's use 500,000 naira. He accepts your 500,000 naira. You can renovate that property and then rent it out to someone else at 1 million naira or 1.5 million naira. How much have you gained? 500,000 naira. Because you got it from the landlord at 500,000 naira, but you let it out at 1 million naira. Yes. You would have. So there are leases. There are different types of agreements. I know we have lawyers there. We have the building or development lease that you can go into with a landlord. So the building lease majorly talks about you leasing land alone. Development lease talks about you leasing both the land and the structure on it. So building lease is that, this land is available. Landlord, I want to let this land. Give me 10 years lease. Okay, I've given you 10 years lease. I can build anything on that land. Recover my money. And then, in real estate, in law now, whatever is attached, affixed to land, belongs to the owner of the land.
That means at the time the agreement expires, that you're supposed to leave.
Both your structure and the land, you are leaving it to, yes. You said? Yes, okay, yes. So, that's rental properties. You don't need to buy that property for you to do that. The other option is real estate investment groups. Real estate investment groups. What do? These groups, it's just like a group of friends, a group of people come together and they rent, just similar to the rental properties. It's majorly for rentals, the real estate investment group. I'm explaining this so that when I get to real estate investment trust, you won't be confused. Real estate investment groups are basically for rental apartments. You come together and say, we want to rent this 4-number, 3-bedroom unit from the landlord. You rent it, you renovate, touch it up, modernize it, and rent it out at the market value. You know you've gotten a premium from the landlord, and you rent it out at the market value. That's how real estate investment groups come together. People, friends, there'll still be question and answer. I know there will be a lot of questions regarding what I'm saying. So now, the other one is house flipping. It's similar to the rental illustrations I've given, but this one is different in the sense that you are now selling. House flipping is that there is a tenement apartment in your neighborhood. Let me explain tenement apartment. Then face me, I face you. There's a face me, I face you in your neighborhood, or Brazilian bungalow in your neighborhood. And then you want to renovate, you want to buy it, touch it up, renovate it to 1-bedroom, mini flat or 2-bedroom, and then sell. You bought it at 20 million naira, for instance. You are selling at 30 million naira or 40 million naira. You have gained 15 million naira. But please, she said something. There's a process. There's time value of money. Don't think that the moment you finish renovating, immediately you get a buyer and you get the 15 million naira. Like I mentioned, it takes sometimes 3 to 6 months before you can get a buyer. Now, that's house flipping. And this is very, very... they do it in Nigeria. We do it in Nigeria, but it's paramount, outside. It's very, very... it's usually done for people that want to invest outside Nigeria, because in the United States, you can get mortgages. You don't need to pour down, the entire 20 million naira. Unlike in Nigeria, you spend the 20 million naira upfront in here. The other one is real estate investment trust. Real estate investment trust, it's more like a stock, but now benchmark on real estate. Stocks, the way stocks are is that they unitize the shares in a company, and then you buy shares into that company. Then you are a part owner of that company. Same thing goes for real estate investment trust. Properties are brought together, and there is a special purpose vehicle, SPV, done on those properties. They will now unitize the property and now start selling to people. You buy the number of units that you want, and you own a part of that company. That's real estate investment trust. So I know there is always a mindset in Nigeria, especially, I hope I can say this, people from the eastern part, that is the land. Land is the property. But now I think our mindsets should move away from you owning the land only. You can own units and call yourself a real estate owner. And this is the most important one I want to dwell so much on, the crowdfunding aspect. and which there are a lot of it already in Nigeria and outside. I'm yet to get a platform that I can introduce to us in Nigeria, but I will show us some that we can take advantage of outside Nigeria. Crowdfunding, it's just about, like what my pastor has started with the ladies, coming together to save. You save a certain amount of money, and then you start investing that money into properties. I have a senior colleague that started this, and every month they were saving 2 million naira, and today, a group of friends, 2 million times 10, that's 20 million naira every month. In a year, that's 240 million. Am I correct? 240 million. They can invest in anything. Someone just woke up. That's 240 million naira. But we don't need to start with that. We can start small, just the way we've been encouraged. We can start small. A property of 10 million naira. There are still properties of 10 million naira, 15 million naira. Yes, you can bring your friends together, which I'll work with her on that. You know, we have a plan to start that in this church and in my company. In my company, and I want to bring it to the church to see that every one of us, we come together, start contributing. And crowdfunding is just similar to the cooperative that we have in Lighthouse. And how many of us are in the cooperative here? Here and there. Just 3. Wow. I really encourage us to please join the cooperative, because this is one of the ways you can actually invest in real estate. Crowdfunding platforms, these are, I was with the co-founder of Estate Guru in Moscow in 2019. It's a wonderful platform. You can, but I would like to explain and tell us that before you invest in any platform, please ensure that you've checked reviews, you've confirmed the assets that they are investing in, you've checked their rate of returns that they are promising you, and you've confirmed the sum, that's the minimum sum that you can invest. Because some of them will tell you that the minimum sum you can invest is $12,000, $500. There are those that you can invest $500, and so on and so forth. Now, quick scenarios. Between land, my time is up, between land and building, which one do you think you should invest in? Let me explain it. You have a land of 500,000 naira at Mowe Ibafo, and you are given the opportunity to buy a unit, like 10 units of a flat at 500,000 naira in Okpebi, Lagos. Which one will you prefer? Why? Why the building? Value. You said? No, you're not buying the land. The land does not belong to you. Yeah. Please, use the mic, please. Thank you. Yes.
You can start to see returns quicker.
God bless you. Thank you. Any other thing? Location. God bless you. Location. Yes. Any other reason? Thank you so much for that. So I always wonder why a lot of, and I know a lot of us, some of us, how many of you own land? Yedron knows. So some of us are falling victim of, those marketing strategy that, the land in this place, over 5 years, over 10 years, it will appreciate 20%, 30%, 100%. Please. I'm encouraging us that I hope that by the time I finish today, you will be able to choose wisely between investing in those lands outside Lagos and those ones in within Lagos. Now, I'm saying this with caution, though. There are some opportunities that we can get with those lands outside. If, for instance, you buy the land and you can give it out to farmers to plant on them, you start yielding something, no matter how small, even if it is 10,000 per month. But if you leave it alone, you will incur clearing cost. Omonile will come back to meet you. there's even one of my lecturers told us of his experience that despite fencing a land, the Omoniles went to be removed. They started removing the blocks one by one, and they sold the land. And you had a picture of a land that you fenced. So I'm not discouraging us from buying lands, but I'm just saying that please, if you would choose, please choose wisely, and if you have opportunities. And now, let me give you my own experience. A land at Isheri North in 2004, a senior colleague of mine bought it at 1.4 million naira. In 2018, I was introduced to another land in that neighborhood, Isheri North. I know Bro Donald will know Isheri North very well. It was introduced to me in 2018, that's 14 years after, for 10 million naira. Today, how much do you think the land is? Someone said 15. 12. God bless you, sir. Land in Isheri North, that's OPIC, is 30 million naira now. Yes. Yes, one plot. One plot, 30 million naira now. Why am I telling us this? Now, a part of me regretted not buying it in 2018. Because then I was telling them that, 10 million naira, I'll go and buy a flat, LSDPC flat. Even with the 30 million naira now, I can still say I'll go and buy flats now. Do you understand? But let the Holy Spirit direct. Whatever decision you want to do in real estate, most times I always say, the Holy Spirit needs to direct you so that you make the right decision. You understand? But these are scenarios that I would want us to always remember and think about whenever we want to invest. Now, this is an opportunity for us. I have this 6-number terrace apartment inside Bagada. How many of you feel you can afford it? You can't see clearly. Oh, it's just 90 million naira. One unit. 4-bedroom with 1-room BQ. And you have like 3 parking space to yourself. Good, very lovely serene, good environment. Okay, so I brought this so that someone, I knew I was going to get that, oh, we can't afford it. But the way I want you to, reach pattern and start thinking is that, oh, how can I get this? How can I get like 10 or 20 of my friends to come together and start saving? You might not be able to, because I want to close this ones. No. I might not be able to wait for, but aside you getting it, you can also earn money by you introducing it to some of your uncles and friends. Because once I close, surely you will get a percentage. Do you understand? So let's start thinking about that. That a group of friends, 20, 30, if we start saving 25,000 or let's say 30,000 naira monthly, if you can afford 30,000 naira monthly, multiply that by 20 in a month, multiply that by 12, and then we do that savings for maybe 5 years. We can become landowners, property owners at an early stage in our life. Let me also give you this final scenario. I missed out on this. That's my banner on it. A government institution, called us that, oh, they have this property, they want us to let it for them. They want us to help them sell. But I wasn't thinking. I just advised them, oh, why not let it out? I wasn't thinking of letting it myself. You remember I told you that the first way you can enter into real estate is by renting and you renting out to someone else. If I had rented this property, I would have touched it up. I would have rented it out so we eventually rented it to people at 1.2, 1.5. But the rental value as at that time was 2.5 million naira. Today, the tenants are still there. We still want to sell. The tenants are still there. But because I did not think about it, if I had given government 1.2 million naira, it is a commercial complex on 5 floors with a mini warehouse. I would have earned a certain income over 5 years. And then when the opportunity of buying comes, I can eventually present myself as a buyer in that property. So I hope that with this viewpoint of mine, I've been able to convince us that whenever you are walking around the streets of Lagos on your journey to Wall Street, open your eyes. Those warehouses that you feel are abandoned, please get my number. Call me. I hope my number is there. It's on the first one. Call me and say, can we rent this place out? How much can we get in return? Or can we get people to buy this thing and then we resell later on? There are opportunities in the real estate industry. Thank you so much. God bless you.
Thank you. Okay. We will have session for questions.
All right.
All right.
Calm down.
Please, let's clap again. A round of applause. Awesome. I have a riddle. Can I ask?
Shoot.
Please. It's a very popular one, but I don't know if you get it. What goes up and never comes down? What goes up and never comes down?
No, just anything
Another
that goes
answer.
Age.
Okay. So it's age. That's the typical thing, but you're wrong. It is this real estate thing. I think one of the first things he said was, it's very volatile. It goes up, it never comes down. I remember when I was looking for, this one is just rent, I was looking for a place to stay because of the distance we work and where I stayed before. It took me 2 years, but somewhere that I checked out before became another story the next year. And it's still the same tiny space, so nothing has changed. But yeah, that's location. Awesome.
Price of staying in Lagos.
Yeah.
Every 5 minutes. Well, I agree with you, because even me, I'm a landowner.
You have experience. Are you a victim?
Complex victim.
What you have not seen, don't pay for it.
This one, I've even seen it, though. They refuse to let me carry farmers and reach there, so I have plenty of questions.
Wow.
How could that?
Wow.
But seriously, these days, I think I really agree with him on the fact that it's not about holding a land any longer. Yeah. I think that was the mindset they gave us while growing up, that, if you want to show that you have arrived, just go and buy one land somewhere in Ibadan or in one place. So everybody asks you, what are you doing in your life? I have a land too. I have 5 plots of land somewhere. Now, even me myself, I can't reach there. No joke. So, you won't blame me. Me too. I bought it for cheap now, like 100,000 at that time. Somewhere inside. It's not even way. I don't even know the place. I don't see it to be seen. Even me right now, I cannot even locate. No, I still have papers at home. That's it.
Okay. Okay. Let's welcome our speakers again.
Okay, so now you have all the time, all the opportunity
to ask all the questions.
To ask your questions.
Those burning questions on money, on real estate. We'll ask all those questions.
Yes, then our viewers online, drop it on chat box. So any questions?
I'm still thinking about other questions, but the one that came to my mind when Mr. Ewa was speaking about that rental properties. Okay, you were mentioning that the building, the landlord will rent it out. Let me say the landlord rents it out to me at a particular amount of money. First, I want to ask, is it lease or rent?
Lease.
Lease. So is lease, is it a one-off payment, or there's an agreement, maybe you pay a particular year, one-off, or maybe instrumental?
Okay, it depends. It depends on your agreement. So most times, leases start from 2 to 3 years, depending on the state, between 2 and 3 years above. If the landlord gives you a 10-year lease, you use your church mind. If you want to confirm that 10 years will not change, how much rent should you pay in advance? You shouldn't pay anything less than 5 years rent in advance. If you pay 3 years rent, after the first 5 years, you can decide to increase his rent. Oh. Yes. So there are advantages and disadvantages. So, but depending on the money you have available, okay, you can either decide to pay the 10 years upfront, so as to secure, number one, your interest in the property. Number two, hedge yourself against inflation, because the rent you've paid 10 years ago, it's not the same that you pay 10 years later.
Are there always clauses in their agreement that says they can come and change, like, your rent in the middle of maybe
before there are rent review there are rent review clauses. There are rent review clauses.
You know why I asked that question is because I wanted to now ask that do I still pay the same amount of money? You understand, the same amount of rent? No. Because it will be to the advantage of the tenant.
Yeah.
If he pays the same amount, maybe for a particular year, for 10 years, and I've made a lot of money. Like now, okay, let me say I paid maybe 500,000 naira. Let me just say 500,000 naira for that particular space.
Yes.
And I'm renting it out for maybe 1 million naira or 1.2.
Yes.
So the amount of money, and the landlord might even know the amount of money that I'm making.
Yes.
Humanly, if I'm even the landlord, I want to come back to you and say, oh, Benny, you should actually, you understand? So that's why I wanted to ask the question that, your rent, is it still the same amount throughout the period that you are there, or they review your rent?
So like I said, it depends on the agreement you have, but there are rent review clauses, and even your own rent that you are giving out to people, you can also review it later on. But you are protected that the landlord will find it difficult to renege on the agreements if you do a proper agreement, so that he wouldn't say that after 5 years, because you are collecting 1 million naira somewhere, and he is collecting 500,000, that you should go out of the property. No, the agreement, if properly signed and properly done, is binding on all parties.
Well, I feel it's also a win-win, because by the time you're also leaving that property, the development you have also done
belongs to the owner. Yes.
Thank you very much, sir, and thank you, Ma. It's been very, very enlightening. I have 2 questions at the moment. The first question is concerning, so for example, I want to, recently I've been looking into property and buying property and what that looks like. I want to ask, so if there's a property that's 40 million and I have 40 million, is it advisable for me to use the 40 million that I have to buy the property? Or should I do a part payment from my money and then spread, maybe take a mortgage loan or something and spread that money, spread the payments across time? Would you suggest someone just pays up front, hard cash, or take advantage of financial opportunities? That's the first question. Okay. The second question about buying the land versus buying property is, I noticed that property, I've seen property that was 5 years ago must have been the cream of the crop, right? But 5 years later, people have built stuff that made that property now look like I can't stay here kind of
So I'm feeling, is it worth it considering the value of the property depreciating per time when you're buying units as opposed to buying land? Because land, you could always, you could always build stuff. You're the owner of the land, so you could pull it down and build up more stuff or another stuff or whatever. But property, it's the way it is the way it's always going to be,
All right. Thank you so much. Okay, so thank you for that question. But before I answer your, the part one, I would answer it a bit and then allow my financial guru to help me out with the mortgage. But I need to correct something. Yes, property, Sister Olamide said that property value goes up and up alone. I used to have that mindset until I got to UK at some point, and they told us that there are some times that property value can come down. You understand? During the recession in Banana Island, properties that they were letting out at $5,000 or something per month or per annum, they had to reduce the rental value. Now, it affects some classes of properties. It won't affect some others. So I just needed to mention that. But your first question, as an estate surveyor and valuer, me, I want you to pay the 40 million once. Because that's when I will collect my own percentage and fee. So, but I will allow the financial guru to now explain the mortgage aspect. Because how many of us know what we call MPR? No, you are in KPMG now, so you should know. Why won't you know? Okay. Market? Okay, monetary policy rates. So now it was recently increased to 13-point-something%. Am I correct? You don't know? Okay, 13-point-something%. And that means an inflation rate is 16-point-something, let's say 17%. So there's no way you can get a loan or mortgage that will be less than that 17% anywhere. So you do the calculation. I'm sorry, I'm answering as a professional, interest, 17% interest. By the time you finish paying that money, maybe you are paying times 2 of the mortgage. Do you understand? So why not pay the whole 40 million once and start earning something from the property? But
hello, can you hear me? Okay, so the question is, that question should be depending on your goals. When you go back to your goals, it determines what and what you shouldn't do. Someone like me, if I have 40 million naira alone, I will not put it in one asset. Why? Because one asset alone, and like he taught us, it doesn't move fast. You must consider your cash flow, your family situation. There are other factors than just say, I'll carry 40 million naira and put it here. Are we saying that if you don't have, it depends on your goals. Your goals has to be clearly defined. Do you have enough cash flow that will keep you in that period? Because the time that property, what's the level of the land or the building? Are you going to have to build on it? Do you have revenue and income that will cover it? Do you have other bills that you have to take? So most people, you can enter into an agreement where, I know someone that first paid, like, abroad, when they're buying houses, they pay like, is it 20% for the down payment, then they use the mortgage and all of that. Some people pay 40%. They'll calculate what their rent is, the differential and all those things, and pay it into it. Like, for example, you have to find a system that works for you, and it's a case-by-case basis. You know how many children, you know the bills, not the one that is just like that person that bought Benz and looking for urgent 2K to fuel his Benz. You have to, and there are some people that will actually take, I know someone bought a house, she paid a down payment of 50%, then other instrumental payment. You can now say, okay, if I have the opportunity to pay 50%, the other ones, can I put them in value creating assets that will help me fund my repayments that I have broken down into the months? So I pay 50%, I'm funding it from other areas. I also have cash flow to move around. Those are some, it's broader than just saying, do I put 40%? You must understand your goals. You must understand your scenarios. You must understand the risk. You must understand even the location. And how is the asset? Is the asset ripe for rental already? If it's a building that is ripe for rental, no problem. You know that as soon as they get into it, you can. So some people get houses, people rent it. They use that to fund the mortgage. Mortgage is also not something, you must look at that mortgage well. Because mortgage is not something you enter with, there's a mortgage loan available. You must be ready to adjust. Because some people find out that they keep paying on the interest. They've never started paying on the capital. Do you understand? It's a very dicey thing. So like I said, your goals, your situation, the risk you're willing to take, everything matters. And you can now make that agreement favor your situation. That's where I'll come in.
All right. Thank you so much, Ma. So like she mentioned, it goes deeper than that. So there are other derivatives that you can, look into, which she mentioned also. There's the buy and lease back option. That once you buy, you lease it back and you start paying rent on that property. You are open to various options, and your goal will determine whatever you want to do. For instance, before I was 30, I got this rent to own apartment from Lagos State government. And what they did for us was that I can pay the rent over 10 years. But after 10 years, the property now becomes mine. Do you understand? So that has helped me that I didn't put down all the money at once. So I'm paying rent monthly, and eventually I'm not staying there. I rented it out to someone. The person will pay me. I will use part of that money to pay the rent, and I will add little or add nothing to it to pay the government. Do you understand? But this one that I just said, I'm actually not meant to rent it out. Yes, legally, but I'm not meant to let it out. All right. All right, to your second question about land versus building. During my presentation and during our presentation, we made mention of something that management is very, very important for whatever thing you want to do. You want to save, you want to buy property. So if a property is well maintained and managed, there's no way it can. Yes, it will depreciate functionally. There are different types of obsolescence. It will depreciate functionally to an extent, but if you manage it properly, the value will continue to increase. So let me give, which illustration can I use now? And the value at which a property is growing, let me use old Ikoyi as an example. Old Ikoyi is old. New Ikoyi is more expensive than old Ikoyi. But there are some properties in old Ikoyi that are still tussling. They are still apart with the new Ikoyi. Why? They are maintaining the property. Or maybe the property has an heritage, what's it called? Influence. Let me just use the word influence in it. Do you understand? So I can't say, yes, land will appreciate, but it can't appreciate like property. It can't. The land, like I mentioned, maybe you are not earning any rent on it, but the property you are earning rent on it. That's value appreciation, number one. Number two, if you want to sell that property, you can't sell it at the amount you bought it. You had 1 or 2%. Normally it is above 2%. That's number two. Number three, you can even use that property as a collateral for loan. Yes, you can use the land, but when they value land and they value property, which one will carry more weight? Which one will give you more equity? You understand? In front of the banker.
What you said is so spot on. One of my mentors he mentioned something. The closer you add to the raw material, the lesser your value. Let me explain. We Nigerians, we export crude oil, then we buy it back more expensive. The closer you add to raw material. So what he's saying, follows that same principle. The closer you are to, whether it's a building that you can do stuff or is land, the more value you have. And so that's why you see innovation happens when people are able to take something that is seemingly raw, and from crude oil you have petroleum jelly, you have petrol, you have gas, all those things having more value than crude oil. The closer you are to raw material, the lesser the value you have. So that supports what he's saying. Land, the building structure, or whatever things you can do with it, the derivatives, the rent, the shops, the parking space in places like maybe that they don't have parking space, recreational centers where you can park. The closer it is to a finished product, the more valuable it is. Yeah.
Hello? So someone is asking online that there've been so much advertisement on buy Ekpe for the past 6 months. Buy Ekpe, all this land in Ibejileki, Ekpe. So the person wants to find out what is your advice on that.
Yes, I will still toe the line of my financial guru and pastor. It depends on your goal. What's your plan? Do you want to build on it immediately? Do you have enough money that you can invest in other places? But for me, I always ask that, she said, follow those that know road. You need to ask professionals in that, especially that area, and which I can be of help to that person, to know whether the land is free of all encumbrance. That the land, number one, number two, is not under acquisition. Sometimes some of those developers will say, oh, they've gotten general C of O, or the land is under excision. Sorry, I'm using some terms but that's what we get outside, that the land is under excision, but you've not verified that at the land bureau, land registry. Number three thing is that after you pay, do you have access to that land? Have you been allotted your own plot? Because a friend of mine bought from one of these developers, marketers, let me use the word marketers, and after 6 years, he now called me, Ayo, I want to go and develop under my land. I told him, did they give you your plot when you paid? He said, no. He said, okay. Call them that you want to get your own plot of land. And when he called, truth be told, it was in the agreement that he signed. When he called, they told him that he would need to pay development fee, he would need to pay some other things. The money he would pay was more than the amount he paid for the land. He is yet to pay it. So, do you understand what I'm saying? So, if, I hope the person is listening also, if you can lay claim and go and do something physical on that land, normally they will tell you to pay. So, there's one I'm marketing recently that someone brought to me, introduced to me, and they said the land is 5 million naira. And development cost is 5 million naira. That means the land is 10 million naira, Abi?
Yes. No.
Although the development cost is one-off. So the land is 10 million naira, long and short. And, my colleagues in the office started screaming that, how would they be collecting 5 million naira for development? I said, they were the ones that did the road now, drainage and everything. So they will need to collect the money back. So, but most times they don't disclose that at the beginning. It's the 5 million naira that they will brandish. You understand that? Oh, the land is 5 million naira. But by the time you are paying, then they will now tell you you have to pay additional 5 million naira. Yes.
Okay. I have a question. Thank you so much for your answers. You've been wonderful. Okay, my question is for you. You mentioned palm oil is serious business. So I was that is good. What? I heard it now. So I have a question. First question is, I want to know if this is like a direct. Do you have like a direct access to the source, or are you using one of these agro partnerships? And obviously, from this, the story that he told about his friend, how much due diligence can we actually do for these digital platforms? And if it's not a digital platform, how can we connect ourselves to the direct sources for things like that?
Okay, so your question is basically like two parts. It's saying palm oil is available, and like I already said, everybody here eats. 60% of our income in Nigeria for most houses is spent on food. Those percentages might vary. So food is something that, yes, you know, we cannot do without. It's a necessity. It's not a luxury. That being said, the palm oil, there are different commodity exchanges, and there are different agritechs. Everybody knows what has happened with even the agritechs that we felt were standing gidigba. How many of us is knowing what's, like, you guys are knowing what's happening? Some people are having to sell their assets. Some people are having to, you know, like do recovery efforts so they can pay back people's capital. That being said, there are other one-on-one arrangements people have to. So the idea is this. We understand that there is risk. You choose the risk you are willing to take. There is low risk. If you want to stick to low risk, it's fine. If it aligns with your goals. Do you understand? So yes, so when you talk about some of these one-on-one arrangements, they carry high risk. And so that's why when we use the word high risk, it's not a fancy term. It's a term that says you might get faster return, higher return, or you might lose your money. However, what the idea, depending on your goal, is to have a mix of investment where you have some as low risk, medium risk, high risk. Do you understand? So for the palm oil person, it was someone that I know that has been doing it, and you know, I did some research. So due diligence is not the one I'm talking about is not structured. The structured ones and most of these agri-techs you see, there is both structured and unstructured. Just the way he said, groups of people coming together to rent an apartment. So this particular one I was talking about is unstructured. But obviously you do diligence. How long has she been doing it? Who has she been doing it? Are they beneficiaries? And I understand the risk. So I'm entering my eyes open. It's high risk, and I know. But that doesn't necessarily mean I want to throw money away. But I also understand that to experience growth, you have to have a mixed portfolio. If not, but for more conservative people, they will not get involved in this kind of thing. Or they'll just say, out of my 100,000 naira, I can only do 30,000 naira in this kind of thing as my growth funds. And 70% in safer, lower risk. So it depends on your risk appetite. It depends on you, seriously. Does that answer your question?
So any other questions? I think our time is almost up. Okay, one last question. Just one.
Yeah, so you mentioned digital currencies as one of the high-risk investments. I've been doing Bitcoin for quite some time, but it has been going on and off. And then you mentioned following Uno road. So I don't know, I'm saying public if it's possible to have your contact so that I can follow Uno's road.
Okay.
Right,
yes,
especially when regarding digital currencies and all that, knowing what coins to buy, which coins to sell off and stuff like that.
No problem. I can give my contact. However, as I said, I'm also following someone that know road.
Let me follow you first.
Let's be following the people that know road because it's also risky. Yeah.
Okay. I have a question from Mr. Ayo. So this question is more like if you have a property that you've invested into, but you used all your money to buy the property, and now it's lying fallow, basically because you need to do some restructuring and all of that so that you can rent it out and all. So what can you do? What are the opportunities that are still available that you can still do with it, pending the time that you've not made the money you want to use in restructuring it?
All right. Okay. Thank you. So I'll answer that question in two parts. The first one is that, so maybe you bought a property, maybe it was still in use, or maybe there were tenants there, but you want to renovate. You don't like the, the way it is structurally. Well, you can retain those tenants and be collecting the rents, the way it is, until you have enough money to renovate. But if the property is not tenanted or not in use at any point, just like what she advised, you need to take a decision. If they call the property 30 million naira and all I have in heaven and on earth is 30 million naira, that means I can't buy that property because there is the cost of title perfection. After doing title perfection, and I will need to get permits to do renovation. Those ones too will collect money. I'm not talking about the cost of renovation yet, though. So you need to do your analysis to say, okay, let me buy a property of 20 million naira so that the 10 million naira balance will be able to help me put every other thing in place. I mentioned title perfection because it's very important. A lot of properties we see around, they are not titled. Their titles are not perfected. And, and no matter how educated someone is, some people will still die without perfecting their titles. And they leave a lot of problems behind. So it's always good that whenever you buy any property, ensure that you perfect your title using the people who know road, like estate surveyors and valuers. Okay.
She already has bought the house.
Okay, you've bought it. Oh. Okay. All right. Okay. So there are opportunities, there are options for you. I believe such a person should must, or let me say must. How many of us are doing NHF, National Housing Fund?
If you work in a bank, they are doing it for you. Raise up your hand.
Automatically.
So in case you don't know.
You are doing it too. Okay. So I would also encourage that those of us not working in a bank, we need to, start contributing towards NHF. Because if you have NHF, you can actually approach the Federal Mortgage Bank to get a loan at single digits. But most times it will come through now there's a policy that it must come through a mortgage bank. You will get a single digit loan to finish that building, and then you start paying back the loan. Do you understand that? So there's a mortgage opportunity for you to do that. But if you don't want to go through that route, you can also, source for funds from the bank. But me, I'm always scared of loan. But I would encourage, so that banks will do business. So you can get loan from the bank, conventional loan, or there are alternative financing options also. Yes, I remember that. Sterling Bank has alt finance, yes. Yes, they have alternative finance, no interest loan. Yes, you can get no interest loan from them. But what that means is that the title of that property, you hand it over to them until you finish paying. Then it goes back to you. All right.
Another thing, like you said, all the things he said are fantastic, but we must increase the value we bring to the market to be able to increase our earnings. As we are sitting in Nigeria today, there's some people that take home 35M in a year. There's some people that take home 50M in a year, 100M in a year, and it enables them to do more. What's the difference between them and us? Is the value they're bringing to the market. So to also do some of the things we want to do, we need to up our value. That's something, especially now that we're young like this, you must keep learning. A year must not pass 6 months, learn a new thing. Learn something about something, either personal transformation or something, because that's the only way we keep upping our game. I know people that have I didn't talk about it, but we need to have multiple streams of income. Is when you up your value, you can have multiple streams of income. Single income nowadays ain't working.
I told a friend of mine recently that I'm looking for a business that will be paying me daily.
Yeah.
Daily. Because a business that every day at least 10,000 naira will enter my account.
That will help your cash flow.
It would help my cash flow. Do you understand? And I'll start saving. So we need to start thinking about it. And there are businesses, food, waste management, digital. There are businesses that
trainings, digital currency. Let me not leave. I said trainings. I said you can train people. You can train somebody to do Zobo. Do you know Zobo? Zobo that we all know that we have been doing, and she made millions from Zobo, and I couldn't understand Zobo that we have been doing in our house since that she trained people.
50,000 naira per person times 20.
She didn't even charge up to that. I think she charged maybe like 1,000, and she made millions from training Zobo online. That the same Zobo that you can Google it and say Zobo. I'm just trying to explain to you that now we're in a knowledge era. People say, discounted 1,000. Say, it's not 1,000. Let me teach you how to make Zobo that will turn people's head. Oh yeah, you put it. People are training yogurt 1,000. You don't even have to have all those skills. You could have digital skills, teaching people how to make Canva. People are earning million. And like when I'm seeing the revenue, I'm like, oh my goodness, somebody made 15 million from teaching people how to use Canva in a year. And that's just a side hustle. So we need to start thinking, what makes us tick? What can we do well? Because there's something you can do that nobody can do like you. Even someone can do like you, they don't necessarily have the market you have. They don't know the people you know. There's something unique. Even like now, for example, Mayor Sam's sings. He can teach people the art of worshiping. I kid you not. We see Hillsong Creatives. We see that now. There are Hillsong Creatives where people join the group, a collective of people that teach people how to worship and lead people. Like, there's nothing. What do you want to teach about? There's nothing. How to pet babies to sleep. People are teaching it. Like, think of anything and Google it. You see somebody teaching similar. And what am I trying to say? There are alternatives for... also, there's this ghostwriting thing happening, content writing thing happening. People go on Upwork now. They go on Angel Leads. They go on all these places. They take on jobs to review books. Like if people are writing books, they want you to... And they're paying per hour. So we have to increase our capacity to... And the money is there. It's us that are not calling it forth. Okay.
Thank you so much. Thank you, everyone.
Okay, can we just say thank you to our facilitators? Thank you so much. We really appreciate all the learnings. Now money remain. That's all. Now money remain. So, that one for sure now. Okay, so I think we've come to the end of this program. How many of us learned something spectacular? How many of us? So it's one thing to learn. It's another thing to practice. It's another thing to put to good use. The knowledge you've gained. So please, as much as we've gathered enough knowledge, as much as we've gathered enough, learnings and take-homes, please let us put to use. For the crowdfunding, I started eyeing one or two people that, we'll just sit down together and we'll start raising capital. That 90 million is possible. 1 month is possible. So please, let us put this knowledge into use. I think we'll just be standing up. I want us to take the confession Pastor Ruth told us to take the other time. The I am a money magnet confession. Sorry, I like the confession. Okay. Okay, thank you. Okay, so it's like an affirmation. We'll just be saying it together. I am a money magnet. I am a money magnet. I attract value-adding opportunities I attract value-adding opportunities into my life. I have the capacity to build wealth. I am empowered to make, manage, multiply, and preserve money. I prosper in all currencies. I prosper on all sides. I am valuable, so I attract the right kind of value. I enter into profitable ventures, and I excel. I walk in abundance, wealth, and wisdom. I forgive myself of my past mistakes, and I enter a new season of abundance. So help me God. Okay, so I think we can just share the grace together in fellowship. Thank you for coming around. Thank you for gracing this occasion. Thank you once more, Mr. Biodun. Mr. Ayo Odele and Pastor Ruth. Thank you so much for coming around. Thank you for blessing us. Please, can you just turn to your neighbor and say thank you for coming around? I hope to see more of your face next time. Okay, let's just share the grace together in fellowship. May the grace of the Lord Jesus Christ, the love of God, and the sweet fellowship of the Holy Spirit rest and abide with us now and forevermore. Amen. Surely, God's goodness and mercies are going with us all the days of our lives, and we are dwelling in the house of the Lord forever and ever. Amen. Thank you, our online viewers. God bless you.